right outside the Jatiyo সংসদ, the parliament, national parliament. And the one fear everybody had is, okay, even if we go and vote, are we protected after we vote? For the way we vote in, for the party we choose?
The security is for everyone, and security is not for only pre-election or the election day security. Security is for even the post-elections. And everyone will be, and we can tell you, like, it will be safe and very festive election.
For minorities as well?
Everyone, for everyone. Minorities, majorities, all communities.
Professor Yunus has, said very clearly that this election will also chart Bangladesh's future. What is his future plans? And what is Bangladesh's future?
His future plan is to return to his old job. Like he obviously would like to spread his vision of 3 zeros. He travels across the world and talks about this vision of a 3 zero, zero net carbon emission, zero unemployment, zero.
No interest in any power equation or any constitutional role, president or something like that, nothing?
Have any interest in politics, no constitutional or no nothing. He wants to go back. He thought like he was given a very important job.
He thinks he's done it well.
At a crucial time of the country. And he steered the country towards peace and stability. And I think he has achieved most of the goals that he has set. And now we are waiting for the election. And once the election is done and a new government is elected, then the power will be handed over to the new government. And I think it will happen maybe in the next 7, 8, 9 days.
Well, you heard Yunus's press secretary there. Meanwhile, minority groups and citizens groups in Bangladesh held a protest outside the nation's parliament to draw attention to their worries and fears, of course, over the prospect of targeted violence during the elections and especially after the elections. Minority groups, in fact, formed a human chain to draw attention to their apprehensions. This comes as patterns show that violence peaks just before and after elections when minorities have been targeted in Bangladesh. My colleague Saurabh Gupta gets you more.
Bangladesh votes on February 12th, and ahead of elections there is a fear amongst minorities in the country that whether there is enough security for them or not as they vote. And that's the point they are making in this human chain that they formed right outside the National Parliament on Manik Mia Avenue here in Dhaka, the capital of Bangladesh. Now, there are a lot of interesting posters here, and if I can ask my camera person to show you these posters, they basically ask a very basic question: who protects the minorities after the votes are counted? They say, Nirapotta chai, nirabota na, which means we want security, not silence. Also, Shonkhaloghuder nirapotta manei Bangladesh, which means once minorities are secure, that is what Bangladesh means. So these are posters that have come up here, and we'll try and get in a word from some of the people. You're here obviously with this poster. What's the point, the main demand, and why is it so important today for minorities to come and form a human chain here?
It's very few.
Why is it so important for minorities to come and form a human chain here today?
It's not just minorities. I think across Bangladesh, we want to say that when we're talking about the protection of minorities in Bangladesh, first of all, minorities is not just religious minorities. There are other kinds of communities that are also under attack, have been under attack, and and women are also have been increasingly under attack, harassed. Across Bangladesh, and we want to make sure that after the elections and during the elections they are protected.
People are demanding basically security to vote in these elections. With camera person Mohammad Mursaleen at the Manik Mia Avenue in Dhaka, Saurabh Gupta, NDTV.
Well, amid these protests, Bangladesh will finally see an election Thursday. That is, in fact, the country's most consequential till now. It follows youth-led protests 18 months ago that overthrew the government of former Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina and also ushered Bangladesh into an interim administration led by Nobel laureate Muhammad Yunus. The vote comes alongside a constitutional referendum on political reforms, as well as it will end the transition period and test the South Asian nation's democracy or the sheer strength of it? Meanwhile, we get you what voters are thinking.
আমি চাই না যে আর বাংলাদেশে অঘটন ঘটুক, এরকম যুদ্ধ লাগুক, আমাদের মতো স্টুডেন্টদের জন্য আর না মরতে হয়। অনেক কিছুই কিন্তু আমরা করছি এই দেশটাকে স্বাধীন করার জন্য। তো আই থিঙ্ক আর যদি এরকম গ্যাঞ্জাম না হয়, আর যদি সুন্দর মতো দেশটা চলতে চায়, তাইলে একটা ফেয়ার ইলেকশন দরকার।
Shifting our focus to the West, UK cabinet ministers have backed PM Keir Starmer after a senior Labour figure called on him to resign over the fallout from the Epstein-Mandelson affair. That's right, Scottish Labour leader Anas Sarwar said Starmer's handling of the appointment of Peter Mandelson as UK ambassador to the US was not good enough. He followed up this with renewed scrutiny on Mandelson's past links to convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. Now, as Sarwar spoke, senior cabinet ministers publicly voiced support for Starmer. The Prime Minister later addressed Labour MPs at Westminster, telling them he would not step down, in fact would continue to lead the government. Pressure has also intensified after two senior advisers have resigned from 10 Downing Street, taking direct responsibility for recommending Lord Mandelson's appointment. Now, Keir Starmer has said he was misled about the extent of Mandelson's relationship with Epstein. He has apologised and now he is accepting the appointment was a quote-unquote mistake. Meanwhile, around half a dozen Labour MPs have already called for resignation. Meanwhile, Starmer remains in office, but questions over his leadership continue. Here's what Sarwar and Starmer says, followed by my colleague Oli, putting all the developments in perspective for you.
Been a tumultuous 24 hours or so in British politics. First, Keir Starmer's chief of staff quitting over that decision to appoint Peter Mandelson as ambassador to the United States, despite his links to Jeffrey Epstein. Then the chief of comms on the way out, looks like the top civil servant, the cabinet secretary, on his way out as well. Then we had the Scottish Labour leader Anas Sarwar calling directly for Keir Starmer to resign. Keir Starmer insists he absolutely is not doing that. He has now had the backing of all members of his cabinet. He has addressed a large meeting of the Parliamentary Labour Party and insisted he will fight to his last breath and that he is not going to throw in the towel just yet. So while he may be out of imminent danger in terms of his leadership role, he is certainly not out of the woods over the longer term. There is all of the potential revelations to come from documents that will be published between Lord Mandelson and members of the British government and British officialdom around the time that he was appointed to Washington. There is a by-election coming up at the end of the month, which Labour may well lose. There are local and regional elections coming up in May, which Labour may well perform very badly in as well. And so many Labour MPs still believe it's a case of when, not if, Keir Starmer does go. We've also seen the royal family having to react again off the back of revelations in the Epstein files, this time after it seemed to be revealed in documents that Andrew, when he was Prince Andrew and a UK trade envoy in 2010 and 2011, may have revealed information to Jeffrey Epstein that would have been privileged, confidential information that he only knew and had as a result of his role as a UK trade envoy. That is something that UK police are now investigating, and we've had fresh statements from William and Catherine, but also from King Charles and Camilla.
And well, it's not only number 10. The Epstein fallout seems to have hit the farm as well, where King Charles III has just expressed what Buckingham Palace called his profound concern as police consider allegations against his brother Andrew Mountbatten Windsor linked to the Jeffrey Epstein case nonetheless. Now, in a statement, the palace said the king is ready to support police if requested, while also stressing that the specific claims are for Mr. Mountbatten Windsor to address. Thames Valley Police, meanwhile, confirmed that they're assessing where there are grounds to investigate a complaint alleging misconduct in public office and the breach of Official Secrets Act. Now, this review follows the release of newly unredacted Epstein files, which appear to show Andrew sharing confidential trade and investment information with Epstein. This was while he was serving as the UK trade envoy. The palace said that the King and Queen's thoughts remain with the victims of abuse. Pressure on Mountbatten Windsor has meanwhile increased following further allegations and images included in the latest document release. He has repeatedly denied all wrongdoing and says being named in the files does not indicate misconduct. Meanwhile, King Charles was again heckled on Monday over his brother Andrew's ties to Jeffrey Epstein. Take a look.
Charles, how long have you known about Andrew and Epstein?
Now we take you to the US, where House Democrats say Ghislaine Maxwell is seeking clemency from President Donald Trump. Now this comes as scrutiny intensifies over the fallout from the Jeffrey Epstein case. Lawmakers attempted to interview Maxwell on Monday by video link from a federal prison in Texas, where she is serving a 20-year sentence for sex trafficking. Well, what did Ghislaine do? She declined to answer questions, invoking her Fifth Amendment right against self-incrimination. Her attorneys told lawmakers Maxwell would be willing to testify that neither President Trump nor former President Bill Clinton were involved in wrongdoing related to Epstein. Democrats said that the claim appeared aimed at appealing for presidential clemency. Listen in.
Did get was another episode in her long-running campaign for clemency from President Trump. And President Trump could end that today. He could rule out clemency for Ghislaine Maxwell, the monster. He could rule out a pardon for Ghislaine Maxwell, the monster. The question for all of us today is, why hasn't he done that, and why won't he do that?
Now, the interview attempt came as lawmakers also reviewed unredacted Epstein files released by the Justice Department under a law passed by Congress just last year. Several lawmakers say the file names individuals who may have played an important role in facilitating Epstein's abuse of underage girls. Now, this comes as the investigation into the tainted convicted sex offender continues. Meanwhile, here's what lawmaker Ro Khanna had to say after seeing the unredacted documents and keeping the attack on Trump's Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick to, in fact, be thrown out.
The user interface is a little clunky at first, but what I saw that bothered me were the names of at least 6 men that have been redacted that are likely incriminated by their inclusion in these files. So that's the first thing that I saw. It took some digging to find them. Then I'll let you talk about what you saw.
UN High Commissioner for Human Rights Volker Turk on Monday said that the events in Sudan's El Fasher last October were a preventable human rights catastrophe. That's right, after visiting displacement camps in northern state Sudan in January, Turk said he heard first-hand accounts of mass killings, summary executions of civilians, sexual violence, as well as torture and ill-treatment. Turk also said that sexual violence was systematically used as a weapon of war by the RSF and its allied militia. Here's more.
The events that unfolded in Al Fasher in Sudan last October were a preventable human rights catastrophe. After imposing 18 months of siege, starvation and bombardment, the Rapid Support Forces unleashed a wave of intense violence. Thousands of people were killed in a matter of days, and tens of thousands fled in terror. Our collective job is to hold those responsible accountable and to make sure this never happens again.
Israeli President Isaac Herzog visited a Jewish school in Sydney on Tuesday. School children made a guard of honor, waving mini Australian and Israeli flags, while Herzog and his wife, Michael, shook hands or gave high fives with the students. Local media coverage picked up Herzog saying, "Hello everybody, we're so happy to be here in your school," to some of the assembled students. Now, there was a heavy police presence in front of the school as the presidential visit was in fact underway in the land down under. A single-engine plane made an emergency landing on a road Monday in Gainesville, Georgia. The plane crashed into multiple vehicles and police said that there were minor injuries as well. Aerial footage from the WSB shows officials on scene after the incident. Well, Colombia was still dealing on Monday with flooding in the north of the country after heavy rains, which have left more than 69,000 families affected altogether. Images from Monteria, the capital of Cordoba department, show floodwaters covering up to half of some houses and residents walking through knee-deep water. Residents of the El Dorado neighborhood were trying to recover their belongings after the Sinu River swelled. The Institute of Hydrology, Meteorology and Environmental Studies has warned that last week of a new cold front entering the Colombian Caribbean, which would in fact cause increased rainfall, strong winds and of course high waves. Here's more.
Todo el sentido, hay animales perdidos, animales muertos, la gente tratando de sacar sus cosas de las casas, lo poquito que les queda y bueno, esta es la tragedia.
We shift our focus to New Delhi, where at an India-US trade agreement event, Union Minister Piyush Goyal turned diplomat and, well, comedian. That's right, recalling a chat with Trump envoy Sergio Gore, Goyal joked that the US lost the match by 18%. And the punchline? Well, he quipped if reciprocal tariffs were zero, America might have actually won. Here's the exchange.
Pointed out one very important factor. The US lost the match by 18%. And a very humble request I made to him or suggestion that if only you had made the reciprocal tariff zero, you could possibly have won the match.
Well, with that, it's time we slip into a short break. Much more lined up on the other side. Don't you go anywhere.
Oh no! What's happened?
It's the car. Total nightmare. Completely packed up.
What are you going to do?
It's okay. I've got Drafty.
Drafty gives you a pot of cash up to £3,000 and borrowing £100 for 30 days costs just under £6. Just go online and apply now and the money will be sent to your bank in 90 seconds.
It's easy. Just visit drafty.co.uk.
Let me tell you more about Drafty, a different way to borrow. If life throws you unexpected bills, if your washing machine just threw in the towel, literally, or if your car has lost its drive, visit drafty.co.uk and apply today.
There are no application fees and no early repayment fees. Simple. If you're a UK resident with a UK bank account and over 18 and earn over £1,250 per month, then you can apply online and Drafty will give you an almost instant decision.
Can you tell us about your experience, Anton?
Yeah, I first used Drafty when my car broke down and I didn't know what to do. Then I found Drafty. I borrowed what I needed to get myself back on the road. There were no hidden fees and how much it would cost was really clear. I also love that I have that pot of cash there if I ever need it again.
With Drafty, you can access up to £3,000 almost instantly. Try Drafty. It's a breeze to use. And borrowing £100 for 30 days costs just under £6. Visit drafty.co.uk to apply online today. Drafty give you a personal credit limit so you can make withdrawals when it suits you, and they help you stay in control with repayment reminders and updates on your credit limit. You can access money online and you'll have the money on the way to your bank in 90 seconds.
How did you get on, Greg?
Well, what a day. The washing machine breaking was the last thing I needed. But honestly, knowing that Drafty's there for me to use when I want to, that's the freedom. The money was sent to my bank within minutes.
If you want to get on with life, try Drafty. With Drafty, you can borrow up to your personal credit limit almost instantly. And borrowing £100 for 30 days costs just under £6. Visit drafty.co.uk to apply online today. Drafty have helped over 100,000 people access cash exactly when they needed a bit of flexibility. But don't take our word for it. Their reviews speak for themselves. Drafty, it's a breeze to use. If approved, Drafty will give you access to a flexible pot of cash up to £3,000.
How did Drafty help you, Danny?
I just didn't realise the cost of moving house. It was stressful enough without money worries as well. I used Drafty and they were great. The money was sent to my bank within minutes, and it's reassuring to know they're there if I need them again.
At Drafty, they know life has its ups and downs. If you don't borrow, you don't pay anything. It doesn't get any easier than that.
Drafty, it's a breeze to use. Access up to £3,000 today with drafty.co.uk.
When facts are fragmented, we put the pieces together. Where power collides with truth, we are there.
Behind me is that massive security arrangements that are in place.
Behind fractured boundaries, we clear the fog of war. Fault Lines with Gauri Dwivedi, only on NDTV World.
I don't sugarcoat. I shoot straight and tell you stories the way they need to be told. Unfiltered, unafraid, unmissable. That's how I roll. Watch me, Priyanka Deo, on NDTV World. Namaste.
Welcome back, viewers. On to updates from the world of sports and entertainment. First, sports, where Dutch speed skater Jutta Leerdam celebrated her gold medal with fans in Milan late on Monday. That's right, hundreds cheered as she appeared on stage at Team Netherlands House. Leerdam claimed her first gold medal in an Olympic record time in the women's 1,000 meters at the Milan Cortina Winter Olympic Games. Another Dutch athlete, Femke Kok, won silver. There have been 3 Olympic records and 3 speed skating races so far in the temporary arena built for the Milan Cortina Games. Now, speaking of Leerdam, well, she will seek another medal next Sunday in the 500 meters race. Her trophy case includes 12 World Championship medals, with 6 of them being gold. That's right, 2 of the titles arrived in 1000 and 2020 and 2023. Now we shift our focus back to India's national capital, Delhi, which was all decked up as art lovers flocked to the recently concluded annual India Art Fair. That's correct, the coveted art event hosted its 17th edition with country's top artists exhibiting their work. My colleague Mayank brings you this report.
I'm at the 17th edition of India Art Fair, a colourful platform for nearly 133 artists from all over the country, putting a spotlight on South Asian art scene, a mixture of paintings, sculptures, large-scale installations, and even digital art. The annual India Art Fair, taking place in New Delhi, has assembled multidisciplinary artworks, sparking conversations on society, culture, traditions, environment, and ultimately provoking emotions of togetherness, diversity, love, and life in general.
The Winds of Guardians represent my ancestors that have traveled from many different countries that end up in Australia. And it's my story of my creation story, really. The sculptures have this essence of a body or an exoskeleton vibe, but it also has this sense of a future. What's the future look like? This idea of a brighter future.
Wildlife and photography like that has been seen a lot, especially in the press and social media. We wanted to talk about nature in a more lyrical way. So this entire show is a curation which is very poetic. We look at nature, but also how humans and nature have learned to coexist. And while there is tension, while there is, of course, darkness, there's also beautiful, beautiful stories.
This inquiry is called The Sky Below, and we wanted to press upon the sky, in Sanskrit as Akasa, and how it is this all-enveloping space, but at the same time it's formless and weightless and invisible. And for us, it was a way to look into craft with that same inquiry. It's somehow omnipresent, it's the work of the hand, but ends up being invisible.
for me, it is very important that there be a value to what I create. And I like to think of our work as being at the confluence of art, design, and craft. So my work has always been working with artisanal knowledge, something which has been around for generations. And we've spent a lot of time reviving that craft and just use modern design to make it more relevant in today's world.
I love art, and I think art is important because it's really therapeutic, and also I really like it, and it's fun to do.
What about you?
My name is Milan, and I really like art because I love drawing, and like it just so cool. I just like it. Yeah. I just like making monsters and like things like that.
Monsters. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's art. What about you?
I like painting and stuff like that.
And what do you like
drawing.
to paint?
Anything that
Anything?
comes to my mind.
Okay. Well, India Art Fair attracting art lovers, art curators, artists, art collectors, anybody who just loves beautiful things. The city is buzzing with creativity. This is Mayank Chaudhary for NDTV.
That's all the updates we have for you this Tuesday. Take care and have a wonderful day.
Gradually reduce grey is the easiest way with Control GX Grey Reducing Shampoo. Reduce a little grey every time you wash for subtle looking results. Control GX from Just for Men.
From the lens of diplomacy and foreign affairs, what is the transformation that you're seeking, not just next year, but in time moving forward? And what does transforming tomorrow mean to you, Dr. Jaishankar?
You know, obviously transforming tomorrow can have a variety of meanings to each person in their own profession or their calling. Or as as an Indian, I can think of what tomorrow would mean for India. So if I were to put it all together, I mean, clearly all of us would like to see tomorrow an India which would be economically much stronger, which would technologically be much more so. And I feel, people don't always make that correlation as strongly as they do, which would, build up its manufacturing. That too is a conviction I hold very deeply that, we should be an industrial power. But from my particular perspective, tomorrow where we are actually able to navigate what I foresee as almost a generation of uncertainty. After all, look at it this way. Many of the assumptions that we held just a few years ago, perhaps the key assumptions are all a question mark. We had an assumption that globalization is here to stay. It is in a manner of speaking, but it is under severe challenge in many ways. We had an assumption that the United States will always be a stabilizer of the international system. I think that's a very questionable assumption.
When facts are fragmented, we put the pieces together. Where power collides with truth, we are there.
Behind me is that massive security arrangements that are in place.
Behind fractured boundaries, we clear the fog of war. Fault Lines with Gauri Dwivedi, only on NDTV World.
I don't sugarcoat. I shoot straight and tell you stories the way they need to be told. Unfiltered, unafraid, unmissable. That's how I roll. Watch me, Priyanka Deo, on NDTV World. Namaste.
Stories that define the day from every corner of the planet. I'm Arjun Samar Mahindran, and this is the Tuesday edition of the World Report. The United States has reduced tariffs on Bangladesh to 19% under a new trade agreement. That's right. Now, this deal gives zero duty access to selected garments made in Bangladesh using US cotton and synthetic fibers. Interim government stories that define the day from every corner.